Our top focus this evening at the top of 6. 3 different cities, 3 different sets of pictures that are coming in, but all pointing out to civic apathy. Just how little state governments and city administrations care about the way our roads look. First of all, let's take a look at the pictures that came to us from Bangalore. Almost every day we report about some pothole or the other creating a ruckus in the city. Today what has happened is that you have an entire bridge, a part of a bridge that has actually collapsed, leaving this crater there. Then we have a second set of pictures that is coming to us again from South India, and this is telling us something about the way citizens in our country have started taking this civic apathy. These pictures that you're seeing are coming from Chennai. Just look at this gentleman there. Please help me understand, and can anyone help us understand what this big, I mean, I don't even know what to call it. It's simply a crater is doing in the middle of a road in Chennai. And lo behold, you have a citizen who's on his motorbike. He slips and he falls right in. Now imagine if there were a group of children who are here. This man was fine, he's fine, no major damages to him. But is this what tax-paying citizens actually deserve? Right in the middle of one of southern India's biggest hubs, biggest cities. And then a third set of pictures is coming to us from Kerala. Because this is how citizens in India have started taking this civic apathy. You just have to laugh it off. So what one bride decided to do, you know, most people go to fancy locations for their bridal photo shoots. They will go to a historical place, they'll go to a film city. But this bride on your screens, and we'll try and put pictures of her and show you close-ups as well. She decided to make a social statement, not a political statement, but a social statement. Just take a look. So her bridal photo shoot has been done on the streets of Malappuram, which are full of potholes. So you can see, of course, it has rained and all the rainwater has collected in these potholes. So this bride, being a socially conscious bride, decided this is the only way to make authorities understand that what is happening is simply not acceptable. But do citizens have a choice but to laugh this off? Because it seems that our civic bodies simply don't care. Whether it is Kerala, whether it is Chennai, whether it is Bangalore, whether it is Mumbai. So our top focus this evening is this civic apathy, which is on your screens. You're seeing these pictures from Chennai, from Malappuram, you're seeing them from Bangalore, but these pictures come to us very regularly from Mumbai as well. In fact, they come to us from across India. We are opening up our phone lines for you in case you have anything to say about the pictures you're seeing on your screens or anything that ails your city. For the moment, going straight across live to our reporters who are joining us on the story. Neha, I'm coming to you first. Just help us understand and put in context the pictures that we saw earlier today. These pictures from Bangalore now going viral, not exactly a pothole, but a slightly larger problem than potholes.
Well, absolutely, Shreya. It's quite unfortunate that, you know, the images that we brought our viewers right now is from the Sumanhalli Bridge in Bengaluru city. This is a flyover that was constructed in 2010 during the BJP's tenure. And what's rather shocking is that when the flyover was constructed at the time, there was a mention that this flyover would last at least 50 to 70 years because of the kind of amount that was actually spent on this flyover. In the year 2019, we saw a similar incident on the flyover where, in fact, you know, the asphalt and a part of the tar has actually given way and allowing for the metal frame or the metal structure of the flyover to be out there, visible in the open, giving commuters an absolute rude shock, to say the least. It's important to mention that this particular flyover that we're showing you pictures of on our screen connects, you know, Mysuru Road and Tumkur Road, one of the most busy flyovers, easily a few thousand people that travel on that stretch on a daily basis. And, you know, now when we also spoke to commuters in the morning when our colleagues were reporting from there, they in fact, you know, went on to say that commuters were terrified, to say the least. Many people who even stopped using that flyover. So this is the second time in 3 years on that same stretch where we're seeing a similar incident and still no lessons learned. Now let's come back to the rest of the city. The BBMP or the civic body has in fact promised that in the next 10 days they would fill up all the potholes, and there are only about 220 potholes remaining. However, there seems to be a conflict within the civic body itself. The commissioner on one hand said that the 220 potholes report was submitted by the joint commissioner, so he has no idea about that. But on the other hand, the joint commissioner here is submitting on record in court that there are only 220 potholes. Now, as we're talking about the potholes, I'm going to to bring you some visuals from one of Bengaluru's, again, very busy road, the Baneghatta road over here that connects, the southern part of the city with the central part of the city. And while you'd be looking for one pothole here, we're bringing you visuals of the entire stretch of road itself that's riddled with multiple potholes. You have a huge, company over here. You have the Bosch company just about 50-60 meters from here. This is a busy stretch of road. You have a lot of heavy vehicles that travel on this road, owing to which the condition has deteriorated. There have been multiple occasions when we've reported from here, and a day or two after, we see civic officials, from the civic body rushing to patch up the road over here. But for long now, this has been a road that has required, a good amount of overhaul, not just some shoddy patchwork which is conducted or which is carried out, using the taxpayers' money. It's really quite unfortunate that even as, we keep bringing these ground reports from time to time, that the civic officials over here, are telling court that they are going to fill up the potholes in 10 days. But Shreya, that's a promise that we've seen in the past as well, where they've said that they would fill up the potholes. There's a very shoddy patchwork that's done in most parts in the hurry to meet that deadline. And in just about a week of those potholes being filled, we see how, in fact, all of the tar really chips off and we're back to square one. Okay. So, of course, the larger problem at hand over here of how taxpayers' money is just being burnt today. But it's quite unfortunate that all of this comes at a time, when even the assembly session is on in the state. And there's been a huge political, debate that's, of course, broken out about the crumbling infrastructure and how, it has a larger underlying tone of the 40% corruption charges, owing to which, of course, the opposition lashing out at the government saying that they aren't spending enough money on the infrastructure since they're keeping most of it as a cut. But you have the government over here defending their stand and going on to say that it was during the opposition's time that the roads were ruined, and which is why today, we are in this state.
God save us all.
Nonetheless, of course,
God save us all,
while politicians are taking jibes at each other, it's
God save us all. Yes, absolutely.
Suffering.
And you're
absolutely,
speaking.
Shreya, God save us all indeed.
You're speaking of common people. It seems that you can be reporting these stories every day. And that's exactly what we do. Report stories of urban infrastructure crumbling every day. But all of this falls to deaf ears. Let's listen into some people who were traveling on the Sumanahalli flyover, which has now been barricaded, thankfully, from where Neha is reporting. And then let's hear what the BBMP is saying about it.
बहुत दिन से देख रहा है, बहुत एक्सीडेंट भी हुआ था इधर, काउंट भी नहीं रिस्पॉन्स देता है, मेरा सीएम भी अच्छा नहीं है, क्या भी नहीं कर रहा है, सभी ऐसा भी हो रहा है, क्या है पूरा सभी लोग आता है गिर जाता है इधर, पूरा डेंट है, उधर ही ऐसा भी है, रास्ता देखने के लिए ये क्या है, सभी टैक्स लेते हैं, सभी करता है, क्या करना, पूरा उधर से इधर तक पूरा क्लियर करना है ना, बहुत दिन से यही है, गवर्नमेंट में क्या देखता है जाता है उतना ही, एक पैस डालता है उसमें, क्या फायदा है पैसे डालने के लिए, पूरा निकल के रेडी करना है ना.
It's getting delayed due to the traffic happens because of this. All the heavy vehicles go on one side. Road is broad, but because of that issue, all vehicles in coming in one side, it's taking time for us to reach office.
High Court has given direction for the major roads, which are 1,300 to 1,400 kilometers. Okay. There we will be able to complete the pothole filling.
You only said only 221 potholes are there, sir. Is that an accurate number, sir?
So that what Chief Engineer EIC has given, it was his figure.
Okay, even the BBMP commissioner doesn't seem to believe that there are only 221 potholes in the city of Bangalore, as has been submitted by the Karnataka government to the Karnataka High Court. So citizens yesterday telling us that's a bit of a joke, and I don't think the commissioner believes that entirely either. At least that's what is visible from the soundbite that he's given Deepak Bopanna there. Let's shift our focus now from Bangalore, and these pictures from Bangalore, to Chennai now. And you've seen that horrifying set of pictures and video that has come to us. Just take a look at this. A man, he's near an area that has been dug up. Now, is this how a dug up area is supposed to be left? Just, it's a death trap. The guy who fell into it seems to be doing okay, but this is a death trap. The situation could have been much more serious than it is right now. Just take a look at this picture again. Here's a man trying to navigate his mobike. Is he a bit at fault? Yes, the gentleman is a bit at fault as well. Why would you want to be anywhere near something like this? This is a deep, deep hole. This is a crater. and it's filled with water by the looks of it. And this gentleman who's trying to navigate his bike simply falls into it. Is something like this, should it be open? It's a basic question to any civic body. Do you leave a hole like this, a big, wide hole, crater, call it what you will, open like this? This was an adult. This could very well have been children as well. Dharani is live from Chennai. In fact, joining us from this exact spot. Dharani, can you help us understand what this exact spot is, where we saw these pictures come out from, and what's the situation right now? Because this video that we are showing our viewers, and we'll put that on our screens once again, has been going viral since morning. Has anyone in Chennai woken up, anyone from the Chennai municipality woken up and thought, let's at least cover this stretch?
Right now, we are standing in Adambakam area of Chennai, so this is where the incident happened. In fact, I'll ask my VJ to show you the visuals of the pit which was dug by the Greater Chennai Corporation for the purpose of constructing a new stormwater drain. So this is the pit, in which the incident happened. So a 33-year-old, software engineer named Vasudevan, he was trying to take his bike out from his house to the road because he wanted to travel somewhere for his personal work. So while doing so, he lost his balance and he fell into this pit that was dug by the Greater Chennai Corporation 20 days back for the purpose of construction of a new stormwater drain a project. So not only this area, almost 60% of the areas, almost in 60% of the Chennai's areas, the roads are dug up like this for the new stormwater drain construction project in the backdrop of last year's flood. The Chennai Corporation has put out multiple contracts, and they are digging the roads in almost all the parts of Chennai to construct new drains, and this particular locality is also part of it. Vasudevan, unfortunately suffered severe injuries, and we are hearing from his relatives that, an iron rod pierced through his thighs for about 3 inches, and, multiple stitches, had to be put to, stop the bleeding. And, apart from the thighs, he had also suffered severe injuries in his arms and his legs too. And right now, he's not in a position to, walk or, move his body, in very heavily. And right now, he's completely under bed rest. And we are hearing from his relatives that he has been advised to take a complete bed rest for the next 2 months. So he's an IT professional, he's a tax-paying citizen, and because of the corporation's negligence, he is forced to stay at his home, in his bed for the next 2
So has the corporation said anything at all? Are they, Dharani, are they accepting that this is their fault? Because the corporation can very well say that, look, we are upgrading civic infrastructure. What we are doing is building stormwater drains to ensure that what happened in Bangalore doesn't happen in Chennai next time it rains very heavily. And the citizens should have been a little more careful. That is an argument that can very well come from the Chennai municipality. Are they saying anything? Have they responded to this particular incident at all?
Well, when we spoke to the locals of this area, they are telling that this pit was dug, 20 days back, and until before yesterday, no work was going on here. Only the pit was dug, and it was left wide open. No corporation officials were seen working here until before the incident happened. So it is simply a negligence from the side of the corporation officials. And when we tried speaking to several senior officials from the Greater Chennai Corporation, they are telling that they will be instructing the zonal engineers in this area to be cautious and to make sure that such incidents do not happen in the future. But what about the incident that happened? And now what about the person who got injured now and who is lying in his bed in an unmovable condition? So that is the bigger question we have we have in our hands, and we need answers for. But the Chennai Corporation do not seem to be providing the required answers to that question, and they are simply telling that in the future they will take steps to prevent citizens suffering because of the corporation's construction works that are going on in almost all parts of the city.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for reporting to us from the spot where that incident happened. And I correct myself, I had said on the show that it seems that this particular man, the techie who fell into this, stormwater drain which was under construction, had suffered minor injuries. Dharani is telling me these are not minor injuries, there are major injuries, and that an iron rod has gone through his arm, and that this person will require at least 2 months of complete bed rest to get better. Thank you very much. What do citizens do? It seems, Vivek, you're joining us from Thiruvananthapuram. It seems citizens have no choice but to laugh away this urban mess. You have to just live with it. So a bride decided in Malappuram, I'm going to show those pictures to our viewers. A bride decided in Malappuram, and let's just show her still pictures to our viewers, that what to do. This is the world we inhabit. This is the reality we have to live with. So if I need to do a photo shoot, why should I do it in a film city or in a historical place? Let me just do it with these potholes and document these potholes and put them out so that at least someone in the administration feels some shame and tries to fix them. Has that happened? Have you spoken to the lady there? What is she telling you?
Yes, I spoke to Sujisha, the bride, who has done this photo shoot along with the camera person. Remember, this was done yesterday. The marriage took place on the September 11th. And after this, this was just an idea that came across when they actually were traveling in this, in this road, which was connecting Malappuram and Nilambur. This was not a pre-planned shoot. This just happened instantly. Now, if you look at this video, you can see the kind of, the situation of the roads over there. Remember, just 2 weeks back, we also had from the same place, in Nilambur, we had a person called Hamza who was actually having bath, in a road which was in a deteriorated, in a very pathetic condition. And you can see the MLA of that area coming there and trying to confront with him. And even now, even as we speak right now, the condition of the road is all the same. I spoke to Sujisha today and asked her, even after this video going viral, is there any action that's been taken by the officials? She said, no, till now, there is no action that's been taken by the PWD department as far as this road is concerned. This remains all the same. Now, remember, in North Kerala, especially in the Malappuram, Kozhikode, Kannur, Kasaragod area, the situation is even worse. Remember, Shreya, just a week back, a 70-year-old person who actually met with a road accident just because of a pothole. He fell in a pothole and he was unconscious, and he was in coma for nearly three weeks. And it was last week that the 70-year-old had died. And we saw the kind of protest in the Aluva Perumbavoor road. Remember, there is central allocation of funds as far as road development is concerned. And even in the state budget, there is funds that's been allocated. But the question is, where is this money going to? Actually, whether it is being used to repair the roads or whether it's been spent for any other purpose. Now, what happens is during the monsoon time, you can see the PWD department, throwing into action. You can see them trying to repair, the roads which has already been damaged. You can see them, maintaining the roads. But once the monsoon comes and, it all comes to the same situation, the ground zero situation. And again, a new contractor has been assigned the job. And this goes on and on and on. Now, this is what you're seeing for decades in Kerala. This has been a major issue as far as Kerala is concerned. This particular video of Sujisha, the 26-year-old woman, after her marriage, this particular video shoot has gone viral. We can at least expect that at least seeing this video, that the authorities will spring into action and, ensure that the roads, at least in that area.
Not so far as you're reporting to us. Thank you very much. I'm going to thank all our three reporters for being at the spot and getting us what the situation of our urban infrastructure is in our biggest cities. It's a bit of a shame. Guests this evening, we have some callers coming in. In case anyone of you wants to call, you can always call us. Our numbers are on your screens. Let me go across to our guests who are joining us this evening. Anurag Naidu is an author. He is joining us on the broadcast. We have Saurabh Kumar. He is director, Pothole Raja. And Dr. Nagalakshmi is the Congress spokesperson from Karnataka joining us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for waiting. I know it's 6:22 and I should have come to you a little earlier, but I thought let's just see, let's do a ground check and see. These are videos that have been going viral since yesterday. Let's see if the authorities have had any shame to get there, inspect, try and fix the problem. It seems nothing has happened. I want to, who should I start with? Maybe I should start with Saurabh Kumar. Saurabh Kumar, what is with Indian roads and potholes? I mean, it doesn't only rain in India or South India, and rains all over the world. And yet you have these unfillable or unfixable potholes all over. We have seen them in Bangalore. We are seeing them in Malappuram. We are seeing them in Chennai as well. What's the problem?
I think, first to answer that, pothole problems, it's basically has plagued the entire country. It's not just Bangalore or Chennai or a Mumbai issue. earlier this year, I had done an entire country road trip just to understand what is the situation of road infrastructure across the country, and I traveled around 15,000 kilometers each and every state I visited. Uh, the situation in each and every city in even the rural part is same. I think brownie points are being always given to tier one cities because of the amount of population that goes over there for the livelihood. But the situation is very very bad across the
But
country.
why are they
And
unfixable? What is your analysis on why these are, why is the urban infrastructure, well, it's crumbling. Yes, we understand that. But why are potholes, something as simple as potholes, unfixable in a city like, say, for example, Bangalore? If Bangalore can get IT solutions to the rest of the world, why can't they fix their potholes? Every day these potholes are making news. Every day this is a big shame for the city and for the state government. And yet it seems that the citizens just shrug and say, "Ab kya kare?" And the government says, "Well, things have been going on like this. Let's just start a blame game." And there's no need to fill these potholes at all.
so the answer to that question is these potholes are definitely fixable, and we have been doing this for the last 5-6 years. Just to tell you the numbers, we have fixed more than now close to 30,000 pothole across 30 cities in the country, and using a product solution which can very well work in damp condition, rainy condition as well. So it's not that it can't be fixed. There are enough solutions, automated solutions are there. Even one pothole, one of the argument that we always hear is, we have only one or two pothole. It's not something that is doable. We can actually make the entire road. That's where we say that it is, not appropriate. It's not right. Even one pothole can be fixed, and it just takes small little effort in doing that. We have innovative solution, Colbitum. We have engaged volunteers. We have been maintaining roads of very large cities as well. So it is a problem which is fixable. Just to answer that question.
Yeah, it is a problem which is
possible.
fixable. But if you fix that problem, then no one stands to make money. That is the problem. If you build a world-class road, which after a deluge will not see a pothole, then how will you make money trying to fill that pothole or fix that part of the road that is broken? So it just doesn't make business sense, I think, for our politicians and for contractors and for civic agencies to make world-class infrastructure. Because tab to paisa only will be kharch one time. If a road is caving, if there are potholes every time it rains, etc., if a part of a bridge breaks off, at least that way they'll be able to make some extra money. It simply doesn't make economic sense for everyone involved in the food chain to make world-class infrastructure. Let's quickly get in a caller before I go to our other guests. I believe a caller is calling us from Gurgaon. Ajay, go ahead, please. Good evening.
Thank you, madam. Actually, I am seeing this problem for the last so many years, 3-4 years. The basic thing is that these holes are never filled up to the point where we want it. These are all temporary things. And you see why this happened, why the adequate precaution was not taken in Chennai, so that the whole pot is, I mean to say, you put a wiring or something, caution, nothing, nobody does it. They do it in the night and go away in the morning. And I'm sorry to say that no code has ever, I'm sorry for the last so many years, this happens everything. The Chief Minister said, within the next 10 years we will do it. Within the next 15 days we will do it. Nothing is done. Now the code has taken to do it within 10 days. I assure you, nothing will happen unless the court takes the cognizance of it. And
it's unfortunate. Thank you, Saurabh, for calling. But Anurag Naidu, it is absolutely unfortunate that the court has to intervene in something as basic as fixing potholes as has happened in Karnataka. I mean, first of all, for the BBMP and for the Karnataka government to go to the Karnataka High Court and say there are only 221 potholes in the city, that itself is a big joke. And every citizen who called us yesterday said this is a big joke. Now we are being told that they'll be filled in 10 days. Such apathy, this is apathy to another level. And politicians also only want to fight over hijab and Hindu-Muslim. No one actually wants to talk about issues that impacts the citizen. Probably because a pothole
Thank
is
you.
not glamorous enough. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me on the show, Shreya. Just to begin with, yes, your observation is correct. Pothole is a big problem, and when you spoke about the BBMP, telling that there are about 200 odd potholes, also need to understand, because I've also been staying in Bangalore. There is no doubt the roads are in a very miserable condition, particularly after the recent floods we had. And yes, the city and the roads needs an overhaul, but it's not for the government to, it's not, look, when you talk about a system, it's not one party or one government to be blamed, because when you see government changing, particularly in Karnataka, chief minister changing every now and then, you have one government awarding a project, but other government giving a completion certificate for the same vendor. So it's everyone's game. But what I'll tell you is BBMP also. I'm not defending BBMP here, but you need to also see what kind of a qualifying criteria they have to identify what exactly qualifies to be a pothole. And again, the catch remains there. We were seeing visuals from when Neha was reporting from the road. If you genuinely ask me, living in Bangalore, I won't call a lot of that. It's just a rough patch, but yes, accidents may happen, and I don't know if BBMP is really thinking about a big potholes as a classified classification of being a pothole. But it's let's not blame the government, but I think people like the gentleman who runs.
Saurabh, who do we blame? I mean, someone has to fix this, right?
It's a system. It's an overall system.
Who is the system? That is the problem. No one knows who's the system. When we say system, everyone goes scot-free and no blame is fixed. Corporators, there are no corporators in Bangalore. Election hua nahi hai. BBMP run by the BJP for the last 10 years. You're saying don't run the BBMP. The government currently under Mr. Bommai, again of the BJP. Send them a notice and ask the weather gods to respond. Anurag, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. No, I'll tell you, Shreya, let me just tell you, it's a very important thing. Yes, it's for Mr. Bommai to take lessons from now and set up a new system to deal with this, because potholes cannot, as we go for a standard tendering process and awarding, it takes time. The system is not working here. We do have contractual agreements where the vendors were supposed to repair the potholes every now and then. I think this chief minister, I would really urge him to take a systematic measure to enforce a new system, which will be, you cannot avoid, the erosion of the road. It is science. And we also have in India the habit of using some certain roads are made to ply a certain section of vehicles, certain class of vehicles, but we also ply very heavy vehicles in the city roads, and that damages the city roads. So there are a lot of conditions. There are citizen awareness. When we put pandals, we go and hammer and we create some holes on the road and we damage the road. We feel that it's totally fine. We don't look at roads as our own property, as our home or our premises, and we also need to be collectively come together. And yes, this kind of potholes that we see from visuals from Chennai, these are very disturbing. When you have a pothole, you should actually enclose. When I was in Japan, so beautifully, around the periphery, they can kind of completely close down the area. And I've also seen in Bangalore, when the metro construction is going on, they completely enclose the area. So certain measures are very basic. You may take time in repairing the roads. That's fine. You may take time in filling the pothole, but all you need is a common sense to of enclose the entire area.
That's in Chennai. Actually, that's not a pothole. In Chennai, it's not a pothole. We're generally not just talking about potholes. We are talking about general civic apathy, and that's a storm water drain that is being dug. And of course, does it need to be dug? And does Chennai need more storm water drains? Absolutely, definitely. No one wants to see happen to their city what has happened to Bangalore.
But we should not politicize, because the reason also, I'll tell you, very recently, so beautifully laid out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so beautifully laid out. When this media pressure was mounting on the chief minister, they listed out a certain number of buildings that violated the environment law, that was built on the lakes, and they were owned by some of the politicians from the opposition. So I don't want to name a lot of them, because there's a big construction nexus in Bangalore, but it's everywhere, every big city. Now, who do we blame?
You are talking about Mr. Harris. And you're talking about Mr. Nalpat Harris because the demolition squad came to them. And
No, no.
and the demolition squad, the problem with the demolition squad is if there is, illegal encroachment, of course, destroy it. Fact is,
I'll tell
these
you
illegal,
honestly, there are-
these illegal encroachments, Anurag, have come up right under the BBMP's nose. Look at Wipro. Wipro got a notice too, and Wipro says we have all permissions. These permissions have been given to us by the BBMP. Look at all citizens whose, at least the boundary walls of colonies and societies that are being broken. They are saying, "Arey bhai, why are you telling us? All the permissions have been given by BBMP and the Bangalore Development Authority, and here are the permissions." So first you give permissions, you take money and give permissions because that is how things work. And then when suddenly you're in the media limelight because what you have done is now, it is now impacting the lives of the citizens and of the city, then you suddenly turn around and say, no, we didn't do anything. It is the citizens who are at fault. Look at the attitude also, no? Anurag, there's a problem. There is a there is a problem with the system. Now, question is, who's the system? Let me quickly try and go across to a caller who's calling us. I think we have Mr. Ramamurthy calling us from Pune and Sadashiv calling us from Bangalore. Mr. Ramamurthy, to you first.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, according to me, this is absolutely waste of time to discuss because nothing is going to change unless until court strictly intervene and take, suitable measures. Because every machinery, the whole system is corrupt. From the level of the chief minister, bottom of the line, everybody is corrupt. Leaving these important matters, we are talking about Jnana Bhabi, we are talking about Kannada imposition, all this nonsense we are talking, nothing for the, the public.
And I believe we have Mr. Sadashiv who's calling us from Bangalore. Mr. Sadashiv, please go ahead. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to all of you. Now, I've been watching Mirror now since a couple of years, and it's the same story again and again. Can I suggest that we look at privatizing the municipal corporation? Because if you see history, the passport issue department has been privatized. We are getting absolutely excellent service. The airport's management is privatized. The highways with toll roads are privatized. So why not the municipal corporation? You will get accountability. You will get very clear rules and regulations being implemented. You will get quality of life. I don't see why this has not been initiated by the bigwigs, the industrialists in Bangalore, because it's the industrialists who control the whole economy in Bangalore. That's an example here. What are you ashamed of? What are you afraid of?
Dr. Nagalakshmi, you're the Congress spokesperson. Is it time now to corporatize, privatize the municipal corporation? Because nothing seems to, they are not moved by anything. People can die on the roads. People can stumble into potholes. Nothing seems to bother them.
I really express mystery and concern about the accidents which are occurring due to potholes in Bangalore. And it's very unfortunate. Karnataka has stood in #1 place as an accidental death traps. It's very unfortunate because last 30 years, this is the first time Karnataka has been proved like that. And when you're showing us Sumnalli Bridge, which I can see there, it's a 12 years old road, the flyover. But I feel now the maintenance also they are not able to do it. And as you know, the rate of corruption in Bangalore or in the state has made all the works infrastructure been failed like this. Recently you have seen even during Modi's visit, they spent 23 crores on the road, and the day next we could see a huge pothole there. Just imagine the amount of corruption involved. The contractors of Karnataka, they approached even Prime Minister Modi and even the Chief Minister Bommai. But I feel so bad. Till now, the action has been not taken. And even the potholes, the amount which has been issued by the BBMP is meagerly very, very less. And the other part is the contractors don't get their pay for 2 years. Imagine a contractor when he is taking a tender for the road, he avail loan from the bank and he has to repay back. What will the quality of the work can contractor give when you take 40% commission? And in BBMP, recently, they proved that these officers and the ministers, they take 50% commission. In 100 rupees, 50% goes to commission, and 50 rupees, you give. This, there were even deaths, which there were a death note directly returned to the chief minister.
Okay.
Even still, they did not take any action. I'll tell you, even there is the huge amount of money is given to BBMP of Bangalore, but the amount of corruption involved is too much.
But BBMP has not suddenly turned corrupt. I mean, BBMP, of course, has been with the BJP for the last 10 years, etc. But you know, there have been Congress governments in the state as well, ma'am, and they have been able to do very little. And it was in 2010 that bridge, which which currently is in the situation that it is, it was built back then. So just to blame one party, is that fair? I don't know. But I definitely do know that citizens of Bangalore or any other city do not deserve this. Taxpayers simply do not deserve this, ma'am. I'm completely out of time because, there's a very delicious contest that is brewing as far as the Congress president is concerned. So we are talking about that next. Thank you very much, Dr. Nagarashmi, Saurabh Kumar and Anurag Naidu for joining us. Kaun banega Congress ka president? That's the other story playing up in just a